Welcome back to the Chaim Davies Show, and today we're continuing our Pesach exploration series, and we're about to dive into the heart of the Haggadah Shal Pesach. We're up to the fourth step within the Seder, known as Yachatz. Now, Yachatz literally means to break into half, like the word chetzi, half. And what's going on over here is that you'll remember that there are actually three matzot, according to the Ashkenazic tradition, that are placed in front of us on the Seder table. Now, usually when it comes to a Shabbat or a festival, we'll have two. And that's because of a rule known as lechem mishneh, that we're supposed to have two complete loaves of bread when we say the bracha of hamotzi on a Shabbat or a festival. But when it comes to Pesach, we actually have three. And the simple reason for that is because of what we do during the stage of Yachatz. And what we do here during Yachatz is that we actually take out the middle of these three matzot and break it in half in the presence of everyone there. We take the smaller of the two halves and we reinsert it between the remaining two complete matzot. The larger half becomes what's known as the afikoman, or the dessert. And we'll talk about that later on when we get up to that stage of the Seder. And with our matzahs broken in half, we dive immediately into the section of the Haggadah known as Maggid. And we start off with an announcement about this matzah that we just broke in half. And we say as follows, Ha Lachma Anya di achlu avatana be'ara de Mitzrayim. We actually make this announcement in Aramaic, which is quite unusual for a book which is otherwise entirely in Hebrew. And we make this announcement using a foreign language. We're speaking about a time where we were foreigners in a land not our own. And we say that this is the bread, this matzah is the bread of affliction, or the bread of poverty, that our forefathers ate while we were living in the land of Egypt. So we're meant to be invoking this sense of almost feeling that foreignness, feeling that lack of sovereignty right here in the opening line. We're no longer speaking the language of our people. We're speaking Aramaic. We're speaking a language from beyond. But we continue and we say, Kol dichvin yete v'yechal. Anybody who is hungry, let them come and eat with us. We don't have much, but we're willing to share what we do have. Kol ditzrich yete v'yifsach. Let anybody who needs come and celebrate Pesach with us. Hashat hacha l'shana haba ba'arad Yisrael. Now we might be here, but next year we are going to be in the land of Israel. Hashat avdei. This year we might be slaves, but l'shana haba'a b'nei chorin. Next year we will be free people. And so this is an amazing statement to be made right here at the onset of the Haggadah Shal Pesach, because what we're saying right now is a statement of where we're from and where we're going. What is the process we're about to embark on? Well, guess what? We used to be slaves. We ate bread in whatever portion we had. If it was half a loaf of bread, then it was half a loaf of bread. If it was half a cracker, it was half a cracker. Whatever we had, we ate. But whatever we had, we were willing to share. And that, perhaps, was part of what allowed us to become free people. Because what it means to be free is that you connect with other people, that you have a sense not only of an independence, but you have a conscience. You have a sense of sharing, of a co-responsibility between yourself and your other brethren within your nation, and you have that responsibility that feeling entails. Now, it's true, we're sitting here all these thousands of years later. Yes, we're not actually slaves right now in the way that they were in Egypt. But as we talked about in the introduction as well, this is part of the whole notion of performative language within the Haggadah Shal Pesach. The idea that we're actually going to create change within ourselves by articulating states of being within our experience. And we're going to get ourselves into that space of being enslaved and what it would be like to actually traverse the journey of slavery to freedom itself. And so we put ourselves in that mindset, and we are living in the exile right now, so we can comfortably and accurately say that it's true. Right now, we are here in exile. But next year, if we can walk this journey properly, if we can traverse the pathway of freedom in the correct way with all of our heart, then next year we will be in the land of Israel, just as our ancestors thought when they were in Egypt so many thousands of years ago. Before the entire escapade of the desert and the building of the golden calf and the requirement for an elongated process in the desert before entering the land of Israel, there was a full clarity by everyone who was standing in Egypt on that first Pesach night that this is the beginning of a process which will culminate in our redemption and entry into the land of Israel. And that's the same perspective and mindset that we need to have on Seder night as well. We might be slaves today, but if we can really tap into the freedom process of Seder night, we can end up free as well. And that by next year, Bezrat Hashem, we will actually, truly, and for real, be in the land of Israel, celebrating together with our Korban Pesach in the temple. And so this is really the opening sense of what the Haggadah Shal Pesach is trying to introduce us to. There's a process of freedom that we are embarking upon tonight. It is no different on a fundamental level than what our forefathers went through in Egypt over 3,000 years ago. If we're going to take this process seriously, then we will wind up on the other end, living in the land of Israel as truly free people. We'll wrap it up there for today and continue the process in our next episode. But for now, I'm Chaim Davies, and this is the Chaim Davies Show.